Welcome to How to Name Acids. So this continues our series on chemical nomenclature, and in this video we're really going to talk about naming acids. So the first thing we have to think about is, what is an acid? Well, a substance that yields hydrogen ions, which we're talking about H+, is what we call acids when they're dissolved in water. A good example of that is hydrochloric acid or sulfuric acid. And as you can see in these, if we take hydrochloric acid and we were to break it up, we would form hydrogen ions, plus we'd get chloride anions. And so each of these are aqueous in solution. They dissolve in water. And when they do, they produce hydrogen ions, as shown here. So one of the things that we know is that acids are composed of anions, just like we said, a chloride anion, and enough hydrogen ions to neutralize whatever that charge is. So when we have chloride, which has a -1 charge, we then know that with 1 - 1 charge, we need 1 hydrogen ion. For something like H2SO4, we know that SO4 2- is the actual compound. So we have SO4 2- means that we need to add 2 hydrogen ions here to make H2SO4. So we form H2SO4. So rules for naming acids really comes down to 3 general rules. And really all we have to do is look at the ending on the anion. So here we see that we have the anion, and we look at the ending of the name. If the ending of the name is IDE, IDE ending, we add enough hydrogen ions to account for whatever that negative charge is, and then we just take whatever's underlined here and we replace it to make hydroblank-ic acid. So for chloride, we drop the IDE ending, we take chlora, we plug it into this formula, and we get hydrochloric acid. We can do the same if the ending is ate or ite. We plug it in, we add enough hydrogen ions in either case, and the ending of that word is then going to become ic acid or us acid. That's really the rules for naming acids. So if we understand this one table, we can name all acids. One thing to note is when we think of the sulfate anion, SO4 2-, which is sulfate, we would say that we would drop this ATE ending and we would add ic acid, which would give us sulfic acid, which is not really the name for sulfuric acid. We actually call it sulfuric acid, and we add this UR next to it to make sulfuric acid. That completes our how to name acids.